Well, a couple of weeks ago, Pearl Davis was on the Tim Pool podcast and got into a pretty heated debate with Lauren Chen and some of the other quote unquote TradCon women Tim Pool had on. And Tim Pool, being the beta male simp that he is, decides to go and do the woman thing and has Pearl on his podcast for like 4 or 8 hours. I don't remember exactly, and then proceeds to talk shit about her behind her back after she left, like a woman does. So that's what we'll be reviewing in today's episode is Pearl's reaction to Tim Pool talking smack about her behind her back when he had plenty of hours in the podcast to debate her on any of these topics, and he chose not to. Because in Tim Pool's world, real men, don't just tell people to their face the problems that they have with them. They wait until that person leaves, and then they go and talk bad about them behind their back and spread rumors and lies and gossip. Because that's what real men do, right, Tim Pool? All right, I shouldn't get started ranting before we even get into the first clip that we have here. So just as a disclaimer, the first two clips I'll be showing aren't really relevant so much so to what Pearl's reaction to Tim Pool was and all. But the reason that I want to include them is because there are so many lies and incorrect and factually false rumors that are going on around the internet about Pearl Davis. And it is really quite annoying how ignorant some people are, yet they act like they know better. Well, they pretend like they know better, but they act like they don't know better.
I have decided I'm on a warpath. Yup, I'm on, maybe not a warpath is the right word. A bunch of chicks have been talking shit for like 2 years now. And I have said nothing. Many of these women, I did streams with, I was cool with, and I got bigger than them. They start talking shit. I said words they don't like. They start talking shit. They attack me personally. They attack my family. They go dig into who I've dated. It's just crazy. It's never the issues. And so I'm going to talk about patterns of behavior and observations. And I'm going to be using these lovely ladies as an example. And I don't feel bad in the slightest because all of you have been talking shit for years, so fuck off.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pearl, I think you are correctly describing the path you are on. It is a warpath, whether you want it to be or not. Whether you realize it or not, you are taking a warpath against these women. Because when you say things that makes women look bad or puts women in a bad light, all the simps and all the betas and all the bitches come out of the woodwork to come and browbeat you over the head with their annoying insults and their character attacks. And the most annoying part I find about all of it is that so many people have a problem with what Pearl says, and then you actually try and get into a conversation with them, try and understand what it is that Pearl said that made them so upset or why they're so upset with Pearl. And, you try and give them their time to explain themselves, but none of what they say ever actually makes any sense because they say, oh, I have a problem with this that Pearl said. And then you go, okay, well, can you explain that a bit more? And then all they do is they jump into character attacks. They say, well, she said this about something else, and she did that about something else, and her brother's cousin did that, and then her sister did that. It's like, I thought we were talking about what Pearl said, not what the rest of the freaking world did, bro. I'm not here to get caught up on what everyone around Pearl is doing, okay? That's not relevant to what Pearl is doing, at least on her YouTube channel, okay? If you have a problem with what Pearl said, then bring the issue to me rather than beat around the bush, go around with all these vapid character attacks, and just... I don't understand people, man. I don't understand people, because if I have an issue with you, I'll say it straight to your face. I will straight up, in the fewest words possible, say exactly what the problem is. And that's my problem with people, is people use too many words to say too few things. And it's really an issue of our public school system, because too many times in English class, I remember writing like freaking essays and dumb shit like that and handing it into the teacher because I was done, and the teacher hands it back to me and says, you didn't hit the minimum word count. And I'm like, that's fucking retarded. If I made my point in less words, why do I need to add extra bullshit just to fluff it up? But that's the problem, is too many people in this country have been raised in that type of educational system, and that's how they think. That's how they communicate with every other human on earth. They do not understand that they are communicating in essentially highly inefficient ways, where if I could say something with one word, why would I take 5 words to say it? You know, that's to give a recent example of a video I did, with the Michael Knowles and Iced Coffee Hour interview. The Iced Coffee Hour guys got real upset with Michael Knowles saying the word gay, but they were perfectly fine with him saying the definition to the word gay. Is a prime example of why use multiple words to say something when I could use one. But this is the type of, not only the educational system people have grown up in, it's also the political environment of an entire half of this country, that they all believe that we have to, use highly inefficient language to describe what we're talking about, just because, if we use the precise exact, words that we're trying to use to describe what we're talking about, that might offend somebody. That might hurt their feelings. Their fifis might need a tissue. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You can say whatever the fuck you want about me. I don't give a shit because I know it ain't true. But the people who say that they have a problem with an idea that someone has or something that they said, but then you talk to them about it and then they proceed to do nothing but talk about the character of the person who said the thing rather than talk about what they actually said, that really grinds my gears, okay? Because that in my opinion is just dishonesty. Because whether you realize it or not, you're being dishonest because you're saying the problem is X. And then when I ask you to elaborate more about X, you then elaborate about Y, Z, A, B, C, D, Q, R, S, whatever else is in the alphabet. And half the time they don't even get around to talking about X. Or if they do get around to talking about X, by the time they get around to talking about it, it's like they've kind of forgotten the point that they were trying to make. And if they do remember the point, then it doesn't land the way that they think it does because they don't realize they just said a bunch of gibberish right before saying something else that also doesn't make sense. So, yeah, sorry. I guess that's just my rant before we get into the stupidity that we're about to get into.
What is traditional? So there's a couple things that I look for when I want to decide if I think something is traditional. The number one thing is, how does the woman make decisions? In Hillary Crowder's case, let's take, for example, she was told to walk the effing dogs. And she thought, no, my feelings are more important than listening to my husband. What does that indicate? A family or a me first mindset. Women that are traditional talk about the family, think about the family, and think about their husband's feelings before their own. Now, just as a disclaimer, I'm not traditional. I wouldn't consider myself to be that. But I do know it when I see it. I can identify it.
Did everybody hear that? I hope everybody heard that, because that puts quite a few of the rumors to rest just right there all on its own. Okay, because did everyone hear Pearl say, I am not a traditional, well, that's not the exact quote, but she basically said, I am not traditional. Let me roll it back and get the actual quote for you. She said, and I quote, now just as a disclaimer, I'm not traditional. I wouldn't consider myself to be that. So for everyone out there saying that Pearl says she's a traditional woman, Pearl says blah, blah, blah. Okay, like show me the video. Show me the video, because Pearl openly admits that she is not a traditional woman almost every single live stream and episode that she does, okay? So I can show you hundreds, if not thousands of times Pearl has very openly admitted on the internet that she is not a traditional woman. So if anyone ever says to you, Pearl is a traditional woman, or Pearl says she's a traditional woman, then all you have to do is ask that person, show me the video, show me the tweet of Pearl saying that. And the reason I am so confident in saying this is because I know it does not exist. They cannot prove it. They can't show it to you. If somebody could have proven this to me by now, I think they would have. Because the number of people I've gotten into arguments with this on the internet is just absolutely insane. Like, I cannot believe the number of people that believe something that is so obviously false that if you watched even 1 hour of Pearl's content, you would realize how incorrect what you believed was. Now, while we're on the topic of vapid character attacks against Pearl, we might as well cover the second most popular character attack against Pearl as well. And that is, Pearl doesn't live up to her own standards. You know, I've heard many people say this, and it just absolutely blows my mind when I hear somebody say this, because I'm like, you don't watch Pearl if you say that. Like, you don't even know about Pearl if you say that, because like you don't even have the first understanding of what Pearl is saying if you believe that to be true. Because anybody who watches Pearl knows very well Pearl does not give advice. Pearl is not a life coach. Pearl doesn't tell people how to live their life. Pearl does not do that. I have never seen Pearl do that. The only times I've ever seen Pearl, quote unquote, give advice was the times that she was on a interview or on some type of podcast or something, and the host absolutely does not let the issue go, and they refuse to stop asking the Pearl the question until they get the answer out of Pearl of what her opinion is or what she would do in that situation. And Pearl always, every single time, prefaces these times with, I am not giving anyone advice. I'm not telling anyone how to live their life. I'm not telling anyone what to do. But if I was in that position, I would do this. Which is the closest anyone can ever come to saying Pearl has given people advice. Or told them how to live. Or, quote unquote, set the standard for everyone else to meet. So again, we need to ask the question of, if Pearl has said such a thing, because I've heard so many people say this on the internet, if Pearl has said such a thing, please show me the video, please show me the tweet, please show me any sort of proof of what you are saying, because I have loads of proof that contradict what you're saying. So, if Pearl doesn't set the standard, she doesn't, tell everyone else how to live their life, then she literally can't be held accountable for, quote unquote, not meeting this made up standard that she didn't set. You can't set a standard for someone else and expect them to live by your standards. That's not how life works, guys. And it just goes to proving the statement Pearl doesn't live up to her own standards as doubly false, because, Pearl doesn't give advice. Show me the video of Pearl telling people how to live their life. Show me the video of Pearl saying everyone needs to live their life like this. Show me the video. Show me the proof. I need to see it. I don't believe you. And she openly then admits that she doesn't live up to this quote unquote standard that all these other people are trying to hold her to, that she openly admits she doesn't live up to, and she openly admits she never set the standard, and she doesn't tell people how to live their life. So I really do not understand where people get off on saying these things, and that's why anytime people come at me with these types of allegations, I'm just like, dude, show me the proof or I don't believe you. Like, if you cannot show me the proof, I'm not going to listen to you blab on and on and on all day long about how terrible of a person you think Pearl is. Either you got the proof or you don't. Because someone can't not live up to a standard that they don't set. That's not how logic works. Especially when every single time I've heard this person talk about these topics, they say the exact opposite of what everyone is saying that they said. Which is why if you hear people saying these false things about Pearl, you simply just need to ask them to show you the proof, because they can't. They can't. These videos don't exist. These tweets don't exist. Okay? I know. I've looked for them. They don't exist. Not only have I looked for them, literally everyone that I've gotten into a debate or argument about this on the internet has also looked for it, and they can't find it either. So, I mean, hey, look, I'm open to changing my mind if you can show me the proof, but no one has shown me the proof yet. But all right, now that we have the nonsense established, we can finally get into the Pearl's reaction to the Tim Pool interview, because we all need to have this baseline level of understanding before we can get into this and fully, grasp what's going on here. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Tim Pool. I think I recently just saw during this stream that he asked me if I say any behavior, I forgot what he said. I couldn't see it because I was streaming, but it said, is any commentary on women simping? No. But bending the truth for women is simping. Putting women on a pedestal is simping. Using female shaming tactics, I mean, that's simping. That's because we attack women or we say words women don't like, that's simping. So here we go. Let me pull this. You got it up? Okay.
Friday morning, the Culture War podcast.
I want to give my side of this. All right. I want to give my side.
And Pearl Davis. And the debate was fantastic. I thought it was rather fantastic, actually. We also had Isabella Moody and Rachel Wilson, and there was a great conversation, but there were some heated moments between Lauren Chen and Pearl Davis, and these have continued on X with some big cultural questions for conservatives that I think deserve exploration. And while I certainly opined quite a bit on that Culture War episode, as I do, there's a lot of conversations that I just mostly stayed out of. Let them have their debate, and only asked a few questions where I thought clarification was necessary. Now, Pearl Davis has ignited a debate over conservative women telling other men how to live their lives, how to lead their households. In one tweet, she says, why do so many conservative women think it's their place to tell their husband when he is and is not following God? Blows my mind. Conservative women are so out of order. And this expands upon...
This should say, you're right, Pearl. I, as a man, would never tell another man how to run his household. That would be a level of disrespect that I would not do, right? Right? No.
The other idea that Pearl has been tweeting about, where she says that many of these conservative women are feminists telling other men in other households how to lead their families. There's a lot to break down here, and there's actually a very personal component to this, where Pearl is calling women ugly and old, and women are calling her refrigerator body, and oh man, you gotta love the internet. But I do think, considering this is a big cultural issue right now pertaining to the fertility rate, the whether or not people are at replacement levels, meaning if you are a couple, you have 2 kids. And without getting too much into personal details, fully acknowledging that I am 38, unmarried, have no kids. I am currently in a relationship, working on family stuff, and that's none of your business. But I do think it's really funny how...
I love it. All these people are doing the same thing. I love it. All these people push marriage. I hate these people. Sorry, go ahead. Tim's fine, but sometimes I'm like, why do you guys? I just don't like fake. That's what irritates me. I don't like playing pretend, and I don't like fake. I'm saying let's just cut through the bullshit and say it how it is.
Yeah, you said it, Pearl. I agree 110%. I don't like fake. Let's cut through the bullshit and just tell it how it is, because if you want to sit here and sift through bullshit, then there is an infinite supply of bullshit to go around for more than your lifetime and mine. And I don't have time to sit here and waste on bullshit. So let's please get to the fucking point, make your point, and then we can have a debate about it. And I just find it ironic that later on in this episode, you could see Tim Pool criticizes Pearl for being an unmarried single woman giving marriage advice. Meanwhile, later on, earlier, he just admitted that he is not married either. And later on, he's then going to give some of his own marriage advice. So, it's ironically kind of hypocritical of him to say that, isn't it? That he's going to criticize Pearl for doing it, but then it's okay when he does it. That's called hypocrisy, at least according to the dictionary-defined definition of it. And the reason I can comfortably say that is because it can't be both ways. You can't have it both ways. It can't be okay when person X does it and then bad when person Y does it, because either the actions are bad or they are not. Okay? It's not bad if this person does it and then good if this other person does it. This is not how reality works.
Begins to erupt over these issues, considering the importance of this, quite literally the survival of humanity. I think we should actually dive into this. Now, the one thing I do need to tell everybody, for our more inexperienced audience members, I mean this with no disrespect, there are a lot of people that are commenting, that tend to comment on when I'm talking to a guest. This really blows my mind, the media literacy of this era. So, for instance, Pearl Davis says something.
I also just want to point out, I keep ratioing. My comment didn't even see it. Tim Pool's pulling out the "Who hurt you" just like a woman would. I love it when I ratio people in their own comment section. It's just hilarious.
Like,
okay, go ahead.
Homes without fathers tend to be worse than homes without mothers. And then I will respond with, do you actually think X, Y, and Z, or is it Y? The purpose of a question when I follow up with someone like Pearl is not to not understand. For those that are not familiar with shows like this, it's because many people watching may need a little bit more information to truly understand the point. Follow-up questions, and you'll actually hear me say to Pearl, like, hey, what about X, Y, and Z? And then she'll say A, B, and C, and I'll go, I actually agree. Okay, just wondering. People don't seem to understand that questions are not designed.
Get to the drama, Tim.
Liz, I've seen her stuff. I know a lot about her. But let's talk about this issue right now, because I think this one is really important. And then, oh boy, I hope you're ready for some E-drama, cat fight, girl bickering, or whatever you want to call it. And I do have some personal opinions about Pearl. She's very smart, but I do think...
This is so annoying. I was just there like 2 days ago. Where was this energy on the pod? I did like 8 hours of, okay.
And I'm gonna say this right away, and a lot of people have expressed this. She seems hurt. I don't mean this as an emotion.
Ooh, who hurt you? God, these people are so annoying. Can we stick to the topic? Can you be a man and talk about the topic without doing this chick stuff? What are you, a woman? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me about people who can't get to the point. It's like, bro, like, there's your point. Make it. Like, but no, you're going to go beat around the bush 30 fucking times before you get to your goddamn point. And all that beating around the bush was just for nothing. But sometimes people are more mischievous with their beating around the bush. And, to make their point, they first have to, quote unquote, paint a picture first for you, which is just essentially telling a narrative or telling a story. And, at that point, you could safely assume that they're trying to convince you of something that may or may not be true. Because typically people who make their points through narrative are typically trying to prove a narrative or drive a narrative or, get other people to believe a narrative. Because people who are telling the truth, who are being honest, only rely on the facts because that's all you need to prove that you're right. You just state the facts that disprove your opponent, that prove your argument, and you simply don't really need to do anything else past that because the truth is self-evident and anyone with half a brain can see it. And yeah, like I was saying in the intro, this is, look at this. I mean, I would consider this slander / character attack, on Tim Pool's behalf because, I mean, dude, you could have talked to Pearl about this in the interview. You could have been like, hey, Pearl, you seem like you're caught up in your past. Let's talk about it. No, Tim Pool did none of that. Like, he acts like the beta male simp or like feminists or women like to argue, and they wait till you leave, they wait till you got your back turned, and then they start talking bad about you, then they start doing reputation damage, then they start character attacking. And this is just feminist propaganda, like Pearl was saying in the beginning. These are feminist style arguing tactics. These are feminist behaviors. This is feminist ideology in people that you are seeing play out in real time. And a lot of people don't understand the amount of feminist ideology that they're operating under, because this society is so inundated with feminism that a lot of people don't even understand like what they're doing is a feminist thing, because they just have never been, that's never been explained to them. They don't understand it. You know, they've never known that there's another side to this. You know, it's like if somebody lived their whole life in a cave and their only knowledge of the outside world was the shadows from stuff moving around outside the cave being projected onto the walls of the cave. If that was their only concept of reality, and then they all of a sudden escaped the cave and got out into the outside world, like they'd be dumbfounded. Because, you know, they had no idea all that was out there. They had no idea that that's what it was like. All they knew from it was the shadows. But that's why I'm not mad at people that don't know better, because that's called ignorance. But what I do get upset at is what I call stupidity, because the difference between ignorance and stupidity is someone who is ignorant does not know better. Someone who is stupid knows better and does it anyways. And learning the difference between these two words and the meanings of these words and how they apply to real life really changed my life and helped me see a lot more of the true nature of reality.
I think Pearl Davis is jaded. I think that she's got a chip on her shoulder of sorts. And when you say something like that about someone, they usually take it as an insult. It's a dig at somebody. I don't know how else to say it. I think Pearl Davis is
I just don't. All right, Tim, can we get to the topic? Can we get freaking A?
Opinions are partially informed by a bias against women that may be rooted in jealousy. I mean that sincerely. I think Pearl Davis is very smart. I think she's right about a lot of the things she's bringing up. I think she's wrong about a lot. You know, she said something like women's jobs tend to be useless, and I could
prove that. I literally have the book. Whatever.
Hyperbolic. Come on, that's not literally true. And you know, she goes on to mention a bunch of jobs that women tend to work.
Okay, can we get to the point?
Doctors prescribe.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the point. Thank you.
Threads.
Thank you. This is what I was
Men
doing.
work riskier jobs and are more likely to get hurt, and thus more likely to initiate lawsuits. And she then said, yes, you're right. Because I do think she is smart. I do think she understands the data and the facts. But let's talk about where we're at currently.
And what I was talking about, guys, was, what do you call it? Women, I would bet money that the majority of sexual harassment lawsuits are women. Anyways, keep going.
Ridiculous Twitter threads. So Pearl Davis tweets, conservative women are feminists. Here's what she says. The Lauren Chen admits here she thinks she should be able to tell another man how to talk to his wife in his home. That is out of order. Traditional women use religion to control men. Lauren Chen responded, it is not a feminist stance to believe husbands and fathers should act in a Christian manner toward their families. What a ridiculous notion.
Okay, so what is this, guys? It is not feminist stance to believe husbands and fathers should act in a Christian manner towards their families. According to who? Then it goes back to according to Lauren. These are the TradCon feminists that will tell you how to talk for a lifetime. And I know, because she does it to me on X like every single day.
Predictable when you remove God and responsibility.
Oh, boo, Pearl's mean, whatever.
From your worldview. This is extremely important take. I agree with Lauren Chen more than you could probably agree. This is extremely important. The idea that there would be no social pressure from outside groups on
who should have the final say in a man's household? Outside groups or him? Why would we want a bunch of outside groups inside your household? That doesn't make any sense.
Other families is how you get the degeneracy we begin to see emerge today. Quite literally, women and men in the community should be telling other people.
Okay, but like again, goes back to conservatives making up a fantasy world that doesn't exist. There's not a lot of community now. If there is, it's virtual. Okay? So, and this is how you get the Crowder stuff. Tim, how did that conservative community help Crowder? When you leave it to the community, it tends to go to women.
Yeah, Pearl, that's a damn good point. That's a damn good point, ain't it, Pearl? What the hell happened to Steven Crowder, Mr. Tim Pool, when you leave it to the conservative community? I remember what happened to Mr. Crowder. I made videos on it. Well, I made a video on it. If I was on YouTube at the time that it was all happening, I probably would have made more videos about it, but that's beside the point. The irony is like, you could see here in this moment, Tim Pool is viewing reality through an inversion of the truth. And a really easy way to have a visual analysis or representation of this is, I'm sure everybody remembers the optical illusion mask that, some people see that the mask is facing towards you, and then other people see that the mask is facing away from you. Just like the optical illusion, the truth can be viewed in such a way, because the truth can look equally viable and truthful from entirely polar opposite perspectives, just like this mask. Unlike the optical illusion, the truth exists not just on a two-dimensional plane, it's a real thing. And so we can rotate the mask to determine which way it is actually facing so that we don't have to sit here and guess all day. But the reason I bring up this analogy and the reason why it's so relevant is because reality is kind of like this visual illusion here, in the sense that if you believe true things, then the mask will look one way to you. But if you believe untrue things, then the mask will look another way to you. And while at first those might both seem to be valid representations of the picture or object that we are looking at, upon rotating the mask and collecting more evidence about it, we can confirm that there is actually only one correct way to be viewing this. It doesn't matter that it looks like it could be going the other way. It's not, and that's the truth. And that's why you have to be very careful about how you perceive reality and what you choose to let yourself believe. If you let yourself believe things that are untrue, then you can perceive reality in the inverse of the truth. And you will never know until you rotate that mask and you finally get a glimpse of what is the truth. A lot of people have been living their lives for so long looking at that mask, that one way, the wrong way, for so long that when they finally see it get rotated around and they finally see the true direction the mask is facing, they lie to themselves and tell themselves that the evidence that contradicts their beliefs is actually the quote unquote made up evidence, and that's actually an illusion, not the actual illusion. They think the actual illusion is the truth, and the truth is the illusion. See how this all like plays together on the whole like polar opposites and like inverses of each other? Like, this is not just a visual phenomenon, it's mathematical, it's symmetrical. There's so many layers to this. Like, I can't even get into it all because I don't even understand it all. But even if I did, there wouldn't be enough time for me to explain it all.
A community how to live. Yep. Doesn't mean you have to listen, but it means the social pressure should exist. This means if there is a man who is not going to church, who is not part of your community, and you're a Christian,
what world do you guys live in? It's like they don't look outside. Do you see what? Okay.
He's saying, asking the question, is something wrong? Can we do something to get you to attend church? If there is another person who seems to be...
Does he attend church?
Deviating. Excuse me.
He doesn't strike me as overly religious.
You do. Intervene.
I just don't like playing pretend. That's where I get
some social capacity.
Sorry.
Wives talk to each other. It's what they do. The idea that Conservative Christian women, and I got to be honest, take the religion out of it. Neighbors should be asking about their neighbors. Okay, let me put it this way.
I swear to God, if my neighbor started telling my family how to talk in our house, no. I would tell them to F off.
Remove the religion from it.
I would say, mind your business. Get out of here.
Yeah. I completely agree, Pearl, because that's, in my opinion, what any reasonable person would do in that situation. If your neighbor walks up to you and starts telling you, excuse me, I don't really like the way that you talk to your wife. I really think you should be, talking to her in this way that makes me more comfortable. You know what the proper sane response to that is? Go pound sand before I pound your face into the sand for you. That's the proper logical response to somebody doing that. Like, it just blows my mind that there's people out here that think that it's better to let other people control your relationship with your wife than it is to let you and your wife control your relationship with each other. Because, in my opinion, that's just out of order. Like, I'm not dating the rest of you out here in the world that are, trying to tell me how to live my life. You're not my problem. I don't have to listen to you. And not only do I have to not listen to you, if I don't want to hear you saying all your BS to me, I don't have to either. So maybe you should just zip it and keep your lips zipped shut and, don't catch this fist to your face while trying to tell another man how he should speak to his wife in his house. Get the fuck out of here, Tim Pool. That's why you're a beta male simp. And like Pearl said, what community, Tim? What community is there? I've lived in this country for a very long time. And let me tell you, there ain't much community here. Maybe there's community where Tim Pool lives, but not here, man. Not here. I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't want to talk to my neighbors. I don't want to see my neighbors. I don't care about my neighbors. I don't care what they do. We're not part of a quote-unquote community like Tim Pool thinks we are. No, we're just fucking neighbors, dude. That's it. That's where our relationship ends. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever will be. Neighbors. You live over there next to me. That's it. You don't tell me how to live my life. You don't tell me how to talk to my wife. You don't tell me how to raise my children. You don't tell me what I can and can't do in my house. That's my fucking business. And if you try and get in the way of that, then you're going to have to deal with my fucking business in your business.
If there is a guy who is acting poorly in the neighborhood, do you just ignore him? Let's say a guy is flinging dog crap into the street. Okay, you're going to be like, hey, you can't do this.
Okay. All right. Dog crap.
Let's say he's doing something that's kind of annoying, but not really as bad. Like, if flinging dog crap in the street, you're going to be like, we got a health hazard. But let's say he's like leaving things in his front lawn. Yeah, you say, hey, I know it's your lawn. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we were wondering if it would be okay if you...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Telling a guy about his lawn isn't the same thing as feeling like you have authority in another guy's house.
Put some of this stuff away, just leave it.
Yeah, everyone's saying, I don't think Pearl... I'm not, guys, I don't tell anyone to get married or not get married. I say decide for yourself. You're an adult. Think for yourself. It's not my problem.
Out here,
where all the other conservatives say they tell you how to live and they try to sell you on their religion. That's what they're selling.
Trip on it and it cause problems. I think that's totally reasonable. He could then say, my property.
Oh my
bye-bye.
God.
Doesn't mean
he's always defending the trad That's what I mean. It's always simping.
House and scream, what is this mess? You didn't insult him or anything like that. Now, as it pertains,
it's just so overplayed, the pandering. It's like the pander. It's got to stop one of these days.
Christianity. I'm not a Christian. So far be it for me to tell Christians how they're supposed to live. But as an outside perspective, I'd imagine Christian communities have a deep investment in the other families maintaining good traditional Christian values. And women absolutely could be saying things like, I think your husband is not behaving like a Christian. Now, let's jump into this. Pearl Davis elaborates in a somewhat different way. Why do so many conservative women think it is their place to tell their husband when he is and is not following God? Blows my mind. Conservative women are so out of order. Now, again, when it comes to divorce rates, when it comes to modern feminism, Pearl Davis nails it a ton of the time, right? She's correct. Like, divorce courts favor women. There's a lot of problems. It disincentivizes marriage and causes problems for marriage. And then you've got young men who they don't even understand how they get married with what's going on. I met a guy the other day who said he had been with a woman for 9 years. They decided to tie the knot. As soon as they did, everything changed. All of a sudden, she no longer cared about anything he cared about. She didn't want to have a family. She wanted to have a career. And they got divorced almost right away. And he was like, I have no idea what happened. Like, how did this happen? After 9 years, she just changed. I think Pearl Davis is correct about many of those things. However, what I find particularly interesting with Pearl is that she tends to take these attacks as though she is a conservative woman, but she certainly is not a conservative.
Nope. I know. I'm not conservative. I know. But I do not play pretend. And that's where I get annoyed. Playing pretend.
Yeah, man, and that's my issue with the TradCons, especially with any time you've ever seen an interview with Pearl in the TradCons, is especially about this whole marriage debate. When I'm referencing specifically when Pearl went and interviewed with Michael Knowles and Andrew Klavan on the Daily Wire. I'm using those as specific examples because those are two videos that I reacted to on this channel, so you can go back and watch them and see everything I'm talking about. These TradCons live their lives telling people, live like me, do what I do, get married, have children, have a family. You have to do these things to live a happy life, is basically their generalized message. And it's absolutely hilarious to watch Pearl debate these people because, well, when Pearl starts debating these people, she just comes in with a laundry list of facts that disprove the entire narrative that these people are trying to drive home about marriage. And it's just hilarious because you could literally see Pearl just, flick the card at the bottom of the house of cards and watch the whole thing come tumbling down. And then once the whole thing comes tumbling down, and the conservatives realize that their entire worldview is factually incorrect, then all of a sudden they start going to Pearl and be like, well, what do you think, Pearl? What should we do then? How should we live our lives if the way we've been living it is completely factually incorrect? And it's hilarious because every single time Pearl goes, I don't give advice. I'm not here to give you solutions to these problems. I'm just here to state the facts about these problems. That's it. I don't give solutions. There's other channels that do that, but that's not what Pearl does. And the only time I've ever seen people get advice out of Pearl or get a quote unquote solution from Pearl about these things is when they literally force her to. They back her into a corner and they refuse to stop asking her the question of, well, what would you do if you were in this situation, Pearl? And like I said earlier, Pearl always prefaces it with, I'm not telling people how to live their life. I'm not giving you advice. I'm not telling you what to do. But if I was, you guys know, you're watching it happen in real time right here. I don't need to explain this again. And just at the end of that clip right there, just in case anyone wants to go around and be like, haha, I got Pearl here. She's a fake conservative. Ha ha ha. You guys are all following grifters. Well, you're wrong. She just right here admitted it again. She's not even conservative. So, if you watched Pearl at all, if you actually went to go and look up what Pearl actually said about these things, then what all these people are saying about her is not actually true. You would realize very quickly, because all you have to do to realize what these people are saying is not true is just go listen to what Pearl says. If you go and listen to what Pearl says, you'll realize she doesn't say any of the things that people accuse her of saying. Well, not any of the things. She doesn't say 99% of the things that people accuse her of saying.
In which case, for conservative women,
Oh my
I
God.
don't know
Can we get to the topic, Tim? It's like
who Pearl is actually talking to. I don't know that Lauren Chen identifies herself as conservative or what her position is. I think probably. But if you're a conservative woman, why would you take advice from a 26-year-old unmarried spinster? right? I'm saying that somewhat with
Oh my God. I don't give advice. But this is what they do. They gaslight you to existence. I'm saying, guys, if we follow the Bible, this is a traditional marriage. This is what it says. None of you are following this. And yet you're LARPing religion. That's my irritation. But then all he does is just personal attack. Personal, just like the women. It's like, can we get to the topic?
And there we go with the name calling. Just like a woman, like Pearl said. Problem is once you start seeing these things, you can't unsee them. Once you start noticing this ingrained feminist ideology that is in so many people in this country, you start to realize like how many people have been brainwashed by this. How many people just blindly believe this just because they just grew up believing these things and no one ever really challenged them on their beliefs about it. And everyone take note that Tim Pool is calling Pearl a spinster for giving marriage advice when she isn't married, because keep that in mind for later on when Tim Pool does the exact same thing and then pretends like he isn't a hypocrite.
All that faux derision, right? I actually have no problem whatsoever with Pearl doing whatever she wants to do, and spinster is not a word I normally use.
It's so funny. Tim, be a man. Have this energy in person. My God, I did 8 hours of streaming.
Point is, if you're a conservative Christian woman seeking to have a family and you look to Pearl Davis, that's how you would see her. And you'd say,
all right,
her opinion's completely meaningless to me. So then who actually is Pearl Davis talking to? She's criticizing conservatives to non-conservatives.
For LARPing. LARPing.
Male. They're going to be jaded with the current state of the system in courts and probably relatively anti-woke, anti-feminist, but not conservative. And there are many men who are former liberals, disaffected liberals, who are hearing this, and they're saying, I agree with Pearl. Pearl is not conservative. I mean, she can say she's a conservative. I don't think she does. She said on the show, on The Culture War, I'm not telling people to live like me.
Yeah, because what conservatives do, I'll tell you what conservatives do. They say, get married, make babies, have a family. And it pisses me off because I see the men, and I've spoken to men, the advice that they give lands men in body bags. The advice they give leads many men to commit suicide. And they are not going to be there at the end when that happens. And downplaying this stuff, I say, you know what, guys, think for yourself. The world's going to shit. I don't know what to tell you. Do your best. But all these people, it's like they want a parent. I'm not your parent. Go figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like a broken record at this point, you know? Like, I just keep saying the same things over and over and over again, it feels like, because these people keep saying the same incorrect things over and over and over again. And, you know, if you're fighting for the truth, then I'm going to keep saying the truth because I believe in the truth. You know, if you want to change what I say, then convince me that what you're saying is more true than what I'm saying. It's that simple. That's all you have to do. But if you can't do that, if you can't show me the proof, then, you know, get out of my face. I don't want to hear it. Don't waste my time. And I just love that analogy that Pearl has at the end right there of, yeah, all these tradcons, they want someone to be their mommy. Like if you tell them facts that do not align with their worldview, they need mommy to come in and tell them how to live their life because they can't think for themselves. They don't know what to do now that they have facts that contradict their worldview. They're just dumbfounded. And it's just so funny for me to watch because I'm just like, guys, change your worldview. It's that easy. Just learn some facts, realize your worldview is factually inaccurate, and then it needs some updating. It might have been true 20, 30, 40 years ago when you established this worldview, but this is present day, okay? It's not the same as it was back in 1980 or 1990, guys. It's 2024. You know, it's perfectly fine if you realize, oh shit, my worldview is a little outdated. I need to update it real quick. That's not a problem. I don't have a problem with those people. The problem people I have is people who find out that their worldview is inaccurate go, well, I need you to give me advice. I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to tell me how to live my life because you just completely destroyed my worldview. And then Pearl goes, I don't give advice. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not your mommy. You're a grown-ass adult. Make up your own mind. And then because these conservatives can't handle not being told what to do for some reason, they just sit there and they just spin their wheels round and round and round they go. You know, a real good example of that was Andrew Klavan, because you could tell that throughout that interview, Pearl and Andrew Klavan went in a circle like 3 or 4 times. And a lot of that was caused by the fact that, you know, Andrew Klavan would start by saying something, Pearl would say something that contradicts that. Klavan would go, how is that true? And Pearl explains more. And then they'd go back and forth, you know, and then eventually they'd get to like the end of that, you know, logical conclusion of like, okay, well, like they got to the point in the debate where either one of them, one of them had to be correct and one of them had to be incorrect because they had 2 completely opposing ideas about things. And, you know, obviously the facts were on one person's side and not the other because one of them was stating statistics the whole way through that debate and one of them was not. But once, you know, they'd finally gotten to the end of that like logical conclusion to the point where Andrew Klavan should have realized, oh shit, my worldview's out of date. I need to update it. Instead, you know, what he did and what a lot of traditional conservatives do, especially the ones that I've argued with online, they just go in a circle. They just start over again at the top. And then they just work their way through down all the way to the bottom till you've disproven everything all over again for a second time. And guess what? They refuse to accept it again, and then they just start all over again at the top. And it just go round and round and round we go till the cows come home. Like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind talking with these people, guys. Like, I gotta take a break from the internet from this shit because I'm repeating myself so much at this point. I feel like I'm going insane. I really do.
Well, yeah. Pearl's 26. She's running a business. I would say that Pearl is a feminist.
I have to eat. Like, how else do you guys eat?
And I'm not saying that as a gotcha or disrespect. Pearl is an adult human female.
I mean, my other option is to go back to my sales job. F that. This is way better.
In her prime years.
Oh my God.
Starting of
blah, blah.
the feminist archetype, isn't it?
Can we get to the issue? Can we get to it's so annoying, these people.
I do think it was funny that a lot of people were commenting on the show being like 4 girl bosses complaining about girl bosses. Come on. And sure, whatever, not really. Now, take a look at this thread. Pearl Davis asks, why do so many conservative women think it's their place to tell their husband when he is...
See, it took him 11 minutes of criticizing me like a woman to get to the point. My God. 11 minutes.
Following God. And again, I want to stress this. I'm not trying to say anything that's intentionally disrespectful to Pearl. I'm not trying to start a beef, but I do want to give my thoughts and opinions on her motive.
Okay, well, Tim, can you get to the point? That's what I'm so annoyed. It's like, my God, get to the point. Get to the point.
Blah, 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 blah. Like, holy fucking shit, dude. 11 goddamn minutes, and you just now finally started on getting to the point. He's not actually getting to the point. He just is preparing to get to the point. Like, holy fucking shit, dude. I know women that make their points quicker than you, Tim Pool. That's bad, dude. That's real bad, man. Like, you need to work on that. You're supposed to be an internet commentator. You're supposed to be the types of people who can just say their freaking thoughts in a couple of sentences, man. It's not that fucking hard. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to be so rude and curse so much, but this shit just really grinds my gears, okay? Like, you know, because like I said earlier, I consider it a form of lying. It's disingenuous. It's disingenuous to say, I've got a problem with this thing that this person said, but I'm going to then spend 11 minutes talking about everything else under the sun, and 99% of it has absolutely nothing to do with the thing that they said that I am taking issue with. That's disingenuous. It's like, why are you wasting my time, dude? Why are you wasting? Like, if you wanted to talk about all that other crap, that's fine. I don't care. You can talk about it all you want. Don't tell me that you're going to talk about something I'm interested in and then not talk about it for 11 fucking minutes, Tim. Get a fucking grip.
Frank Pellegrino said.
Now, I want to give some pretext. This tweet he's about to read. His wife has made 11 plus streams about me for the past year. I actually charitably came on her show for free like 2 years ago. This woman has talked shit with her and her friends for 2 years. They've called me ugly. They've insulted, they have been nasty to me for 2 years. And what they do is they play victim if I respond in any way.
My wife and I have conversations about helping each other live our best lives with and through God. I hope and pray that you will have that someday, finding a partner who has your back and wants to join you in heaven someday.
Okay, now what is this? What is he doing here? We all know that when religious people tell you that they're going to pray for you, they're really just saying to go fuck yourself. We all know. We all can believe between the lines. So he's trying to preach his morality. I'm married, you're not. Therefore, I have some moral up on you. We all know, we can all read between the lines. I'm not stupid. They won't gaslight me. And I'm just being honest, guys. If you're going to say, my relationship is at the forefront, my relationship is what you should aspire to, I'm going to look at it and ask the question. Your wife is a overweight 40-year-old who chose you after 15 plus years of doing God knows what. Nobody wants what you have because, if your wife respected you, she wouldn't act the way she does. And we can all see it.
Kind of a nice thing to say. Okay, well, Pearl says, your wife is a overweight 40-year-old who chose you after 15 plus years of doing God knows what. No one wants what you have. If you ever leave her good graces, her army of friends will treat you the same way they treat me.
I am hilarious. I am so funny. I don't care what anyone says.
Wow.
I don't remember if he read my buzzer beater baby comment, but we got to go.
How did you get so triggered when I literally said I would pray that you find a partner?
I wasn't triggered. I was laughing. I thought this is hilarious.
Incredible, really. Maybe show a bit of humility for once and people won't keep making fun of you. Pearl says, not triggered at all, actually. You said, live how my wife and I live. No one wants what you have. He actually didn't. He said, here's what my wife and I do. I hope you find a partner who has your back and wants to join you.
Oh, we all know what you're saying. Get the fuck out of my face.
He didn't say that, if Pearl hooked up with another red pill guy who shared similar, I shouldn't say another, but a red pill kind of guy who was critical of women and they got along.
And mind you, all these women look like trailer park trash. I'm just being honest, you guys. They look like trailer park. Someone in the chat, Leon wants to give you a makeover. Yeah, so I can look like a 40-year-old has-been. Get the fuck out of my face.
Frank didn't say that he wants them to pray together to live their lives through God. Pearl got real mad real fast.
No, my phone died.
No one wants
Guys, I
what you
can't
have
read the
either,
chat
Pearl.
anymore. Hold on.
Pearl says, I do not preach what I have is how people should live. Don't use yourself as an example if I can't comment on it. I see this quite a bit, and Pearl was saying it on the Culture War show, saying, well, I don't tell you to live like me. I don't know that that's actually a defense. Other people are doing things that are wrong and bad, and I'm not giving an example of how they should live anyway.
Do I have? Oh my God, I have. I hate these people. It is like they live, they're too stupid to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying, hey, if you're gonna market your religion and your relationship as what we should aspire to, let me evaluate. And I'm sorry, a 37-year-old old lady who looks like trailer park trash isn't really what most men want. And I wouldn't have said that had you guys not made 11 plus streams on me. I would have been a little nicer. I don't really give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I think this clip just right here just goes to show how stupid Tim Pool can be sometimes. Like, come on, guys. Like, really, Tim? You're telling me you didn't pick up on the like subtle, like backhanded compliment of that dude replying to Pearl's tweet? Like, come on, dude. Come on. When was the last time you heard a Christian say, "I'll pray for you," and it was like genuine? They didn't like mean it in a condescending way. They were genuinely like, "Yeah, man, I'll pray for you." Because dude, it's been fucking years. I can't remember the last time I heard a Christian say, "I'll pray for you" in a genuine manner. Like every time I've heard it, it's been some Christian saying, "I'll pray for you," but in some like condescending ass type of way where it's like some backhanded compliment practically, you know? And it's just like, dude, like I'm not going to sit here and take your backhanded compliments and then just sit here and clap like a stupid fucking seal like, thank you. Like, no, I'm not fucking retarded. Stop insulting my intelligence.
I'm just going to come out and say it. And again, I'm not saying this because I want to start a beef.
He's going to simp. And Tim, this energy, you had 8 hours. It is ridiculous. These people, they're so fake.
Anything intentionally, emotionally triggering to Pearl. But I think it's plainly obvious, man. When you say, you know, you post a tweet.
Oh no, the psychoanalyzing me, just like the freaking women. My God. Can we stick to the topic? Please, God.
Is how can, you know, why do so many...
Do these people think they're God? I swear they get a following and they start to think that they're God.
think they can tell their conservative women think they can tell their husband, and a guy just says, well, we pray together. I hope you find someone who cares about you. And then there was...
Yeah. His wife made 11 plus streams on me, this bitch. Her and her friends make hit pieces on me all the time. You're saying, oh, that's all. Get the fuck out of my face, you. Get the fuck out of my face, you two-faced conservative bitches. Yeah, get out of my...
response is to insult the wife of the man. I'm sorry, there's only one thing I see. Insecurity.
And you're insecure just like a woman. God, it's like these... Now, this is sipping to the max. This is sipping. You are insecure. You're insecure.
Jealousy. This is not an academic argument. It's not a witty argument. It's not an argument at all. It is pain. It's not even a good dig. Your wife is an overweight 40-year-old who chose you after 15 plus years of doing God knows what. No one wants what you have. That's clearly wrong.
That was hilarious. Okay, I want him to get to blah, 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 blah.
Someone will.
I only pulled this up so I could just show. Beta males will always simp for women. Always, always, always.
Nobody wants that. You can be the strongest man in the world, able to lift up a bag of baby puppies and your wife and carry them out of a burning building with 2 babies strapped to, in carriers on your chest, and you put them all down, and then you flex your glistening, sweaty muscles and say, "I just saved the day." And you
what world do these people live in? It's
still beg that there's a woman there, and you fear the loneliness. One day you wake up in the hospital and there's no one there around you. Nobody likes it. That's why there are so many guys who don't like divorce, and that's what guys are scared about. So this idea that no one wants what you have...
No. People want to be married. But again, the point is, men want to be married to women that would have picked them in their prime. And most of these women would not have picked their husbands in their prime. And it is very obvious by the way they speak about their husbands, the way they act in public, and the way that they dress.
Seriously?
So, I'm going to keep going because I had a hilarious roast.
Aging, who are not married, are certainly thinking about, heavens help me, what am I going to do? And of course, there's liberal cope. I formed a polycule, and we're going to live together forever. Oh, please.
Oh, my God. Keep going. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I am too
Friends
funny.
are not going to be friends anymore.
Okay.
I could, because I believe
says I got a
that's
refrigerator body. That's pretty funny. But okay, wait. I want to.
Don't feel worthy of it, but you are. Everyone is. Let's all pray for Pearl tonight.
Okay, now I'm gonna show you this woman who's praying for me. Okay.
That she finds the love of her life this year, a guy who will love all 7 feet of her chilly refrigerator body and melt her prickly disposition. To which Pearl responds, and you
This is so funny.
worthy of taking this L, Miss Buzzer Beater Pregnancy. Pray for your kid when his classmates ask if you're his mom or his grandma at graduation, if you make it that long. Your show looks like a casting call for a woke all-female The Hobbit remake. Well, we certainly solved a lot of problems with those tweets. Now,
I am too funny. Now he's just going to keep going on about my psychology and blah, 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 blah. Tim, can you make some real content? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, this is crazy. And pray for your kids when his classmates ask if his or her mom looks, if her mom or grandma at graduation, if you make it that long. Yeah, because these women, they're getting these buzzer beater, it's crazy. Now, all right, you can pull this down. I think I'm done. All I really wanted it for was I was too lazy to get the tweets myself. Please, I hope your simping heals someday, Tim. This is getting sad. I don't know. You had like 8 hours. Okay.
Wow, Pearl, you too. Now I gotta be mad at you too, Pearl. You're wasting my time too. I didn't have to watch Tim Pool waste my fucking time all because you were too lazy to get those tweets your damn self. They're your fucking tweets. What the hell? This whole fucking video could have been 30 goddamn minutes shorter, ladies and gentlemen. Probably 45 minutes shorter by now.
So we're gonna show this. Hold on. This picture, okay, is up and open on this woman's Instagram. Does this look like a religious woman that really spends her day in prayer? Like, stop effing LARPing, guys. That's what irritates me. If you guys are going to be a bitch, then be a bitch, but don't hide it under religion. That's where I get annoyed. Let me show me this. This is your trad wife, sir. Not this one. This is your trad wife. Your trad wife.
I'm not even into, like, porn gives guys ideas like doggy style. That's not my style. She laughed like that just happened. She was like, that's why we relate. Yeah, I don't know. Don't find that. I don't make your dinner doggy style. Oh, yeah, your dinner.
This is the woman that's saying she's going to pray for me and doing it unironically. You guys are so stupid. This drives me nuts.
It's in a bowl on the floor. You just have to face away from me and eat it. Like a dog. Oh, that doesn't make you feel loved and respected? That's weird. Watch this. I say we pick a new animal to have sex like, a better animal, like a cat. That's cute. You guys are together. There's heart bubbles coming out. You still have it, when you go home tonight.
Okay, so she's not even funny. So, yeah. And this is what I can't stand. And this is what deters people from Christianity, is all these people LARPing and pretending to be Christians and pretending to be conservative women. Okay, so that's one. So, all right, this chick's first marriage, late 30s. Then, and by the way, I very much like Candace Owens, okay? I like her. I mean, look at her. Beautiful. But let's not pretend she's traditional or conservative. She got married at 30. Guys, think about this. People lose their virginity at 16. That's the average. 15. What were you doing for 15 years? Chen, first kid, 28, one kid. Didn't take her. None of these women have their husband's last name. None. I don't care, not my problem. But let's just not, I don't like LARPing. That's what irritates me. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I'm going to react to my debate with Lauren Chen because I did kill it. But guys, my big issue with TradCon women is you all play pretend. You all pretend you guys are Christians and practicing for money, views, clout, and you use Christianity to get your way and to be a bitch. And if you want to use Christianity to be a bitch, then I'll be a bitch right back. And if you want to get your simp friends to stand up for you, I don't really give a shit. So this is my 2 cents.
Oh man, that was a struggle. We're finally to the end. Oh my God, I didn't think we were gonna make it. To wrap everything up with a nice little bow, let's answer Tim Pool's question that he asked way earlier in this video, which was, I mean, it wasn't a serious question. He was saying a hypothetical, and he was asking this question. But he was saying, he's pretending to be like somebody from a church, and he was like, oh, well, what could we do to make you come to church more, or to make you, want to participate in the community more, or to, blah, 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 whatever. The example was, and well, here, Tim Pool, here's the answer right here. Pearl answered it for you. Okay. You don't have to answer it. You don't have to even think. Okay. You just have to open your ears and listen to what Pearl said. It's all these people playing pretend. All these people acting like they are these, religious zealots or whatever. But then you actually go and look into their past and you realize they're not as spick and span clean as they pretend to be, but yet they're going to sit here and criticize the rest of the world for not being perfect. Meanwhile, they're not perfect. Because who complains about porn the most? That's right, traditional conservative women. Not the liberal women. No, they don't care that much about porn. It's the traditional conservative women who are constantly bitching, moaning, and complaining about how porn is degeneracy. Having sex with lots of people is degeneracy. But meanwhile, if you go back and look into these women's past before they turned 30, you realized, oh, that's right, they were living the exact type of degenerate lifestyle that they are telling everyone else that they're so bad and evil for doing. And it just goes back to what Pearl says. It's LARPing. It's playing pretend. It's faking. And I don't think that's far enough, because as far as I'm concerned, it's lying. Because the way I see reality is reality is a binary system, because logic is a binary system, and reality is based upon logic, which is why we can describe all of reality with mathematics. Mathematics is logical. And if all of reality can be described with mathematics, then that means reality is logical. Logic is upstream from mathematics, as in you have to have logic before you can have math, because you can't have math without logic. But anyways, in a logical system, it is a binary system, and the two binaries are true and false, okay? And that's the way I view reality, because everything in reality if you break it down to its most simple form, it is either true or it is false. There is nothing smaller or more simpler than that. While it might be confusing, because sometimes I use the word lie or lies to describe things that I believe to be untrue, I'm not saying necessarily that the person saying those things is lying, but what I am saying is that what they are saying is a lie, in the sense that what they're saying is false or untrue. Because the way I see it is, you can lie to someone without knowing that you're lying to them. You can think that you're telling the truth, but at the end of the day, what you said is still a lie. It's still untrue, which is why I call it a lie or lying, because whether you know it or not, you're lying. Because to lie to someone doesn't require you to be aware of it. But if you are aware of it, that makes the lying all that much more worse. It takes it from being just, oh, you were ignorant, to now you're stupid. Because it's one thing to just be ignorant. Everyone starts off life as ignorant. You have to learn everything. So it's okay to not know something because nobody ever showed you, or it was never taught to you, or you never experienced those things. There's nothing wrong with ignorance. But there is quite a bit wrong with stupidity. And as far as Tim Pool goes on the ignorance/stupidity scale, I don't know. He's somewhere in the middle. I'd have to go through each one of his individual topics individually to try and judge it for you. And to be honest, I don't really care. I honestly think he's just a mix of ignorant and stupid, and he's too ignorant to understand how stupid he is, because while he does things that he knows to be not entirely true. I don't think he knows enough to know exactly how untrue those things are. But hey, that's just what I think. You know, if you made it to this point in the video, why don't you hop down there in the comments and let me know what you think? Because this kind of stuff has given me a freaking migraine. I got a headache now. I got to go lay down and like take a nap or something, get rid of this headache before I edit the rest of this video. But yeah, if y'all want me to react to the Lauren Shen and Pearl Davis debate that happened on Tim Pool a couple weeks ago, I'll react to that. I gotta warn y'all though, it's just as headache inducing as this, if not more so, because the things that Lauren Chen says are so freaking brain dead that like you're just gonna want to beat your head into the wall to make it stop. Like, I'll be honest with you, I tried to watch that interview all the way through. I made it about halfway through before I just shut it off, and I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore, dude. Like, Pearl's responses were gold. Pearl was hilarious. Pearl was making me laugh. Pearl was the only reason I made it halfway through that interview. Lauren Chen made me want to turn that interview off the second she opened her mouth. It's just nonsense. She's just spouting nonsense the whole time. But whatever, I'm getting off topic. Okay, this is the end of this video. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you want me to react to that nonsense and you want to destroy even more of my brain cells. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Let me know down in those comments what you think while you're telling me whether you want me to react to that next one or not, because I don't think I'm going to do it unless enough people actually want me to do it. And yeah, I probably said enough no-no words that fuck it, man. Go ahead and follow me on Rumble as well, because this video is already going to get shadow banned to hell and back, so I really don't think adding the no-no word Rumble to it is going to really make the reach that much worse. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube as well.